Hi and welcome to Ali Lives Well and Less. I'm Ali, an early retired teacher currently living well on my small teacher's pension. And today is part of my wide-ranging Wednesdays where the topic of our Wednesday chat could literally be anything. Anything that I get up to that doesn't normally fit into my normal Money Monday or Foodie Friday videos. Although today there is a foodie slant. And I am posing the question today, is it too early to start thinking about Christmas? And my answer is no, and I will explain all. Now, I know a lot of frugal people and some very organised people are organised enough and savvy enough to snap up things like Christmas cards and wrapping paper and all sorts of things in the January sales. Now, I am not that organised, but I am always organised when it comes to anything food related. So we are at the start of July, and here in the UK we are at the height of production of soft fruits, things like strawberries, raspberries. There are lots of flowers and herbs that are at their best at the moment. So there are lots of things available just now that could be used to preserve in some way and could be used to make a frugal gourmet food gift. Some of the things I'm going to show you today are things that I have done in the past. As I've said before, my gift giving circle is small, so some I will be just explaining and demonstrating, and some I have actually made. So the first one I'm going to show you is what I teased last week in what I have done with the vodka that I bought. So I have used the vodka with some soft fruit that my mum actually grew, and she had an excess of these fruit, so she gave some to me, and they have been used straight out the freezer. So you will see the next part of the video where I explain what I've done, and I also happened to mention in passing that I had a spare bottle of gin, and I have said before that many years ago and during the pandemic, so that's now 5 years ago, I was part of a monthly craft gin club where you would get sent different bottles of gin and stuff, and I had so much that I couldn't drink all, and then when I cancelled that subscription, I am still using up some of the bottles that I got then. So when I casually mention I had a spare bottle of gin, that's what I mean. I have just had a bottle that has been sitting on my shelf for 4 or 5 years that I knew I was never going to drink. So here's what I have done with the vodka and the gin. So the first one I'm going to do is the black currant one. So I have approximately £1 500 grams of homegrown black currants. These are actually from my mum's garden. Mine are not producing enough yet. And yep, they're still frozen, but that's okay. They will defrost. I'm going to add to that 125 grams of sugar. You can add more if you prefer a sweeter, stickier, sort of liqueur. There are some scientific measurements. If you go and look up something like how to make your own cassis, there's different methods, but this is a very simple black currant liqueur, and all I'm going to do is cover it with vodka. So it's roughly, it's one bottle, so one's 70 cl of vodka to a pound or 500 grams of fruit, and then it's about a quarter of the amount of sugar to fruit. And all you're going to do is cover it. Now I'm actually going to leave myself a little bit for myself, for a treat, but the fruit is covered. And that's it. You just leave it. So you put, actually my little clip has fallen off, we'll put that back on in a minute. You just seal the jar, give it a good shake every day until the sugar has dissolved, and then once the sugar has dissolved, you just leave it to do its thing. Okay, so put that one to one side. So that was black currants done in vodka. I have said before, or maybe I haven't, I don't know, but gin works just as well as vodka. Now, I haven't bought any gin, but I do have a bottle of, now it's 3 range gin, so it's bloody apricot edition. I haven't actually been drinking gin, and I've had this bottle for a long time, and in truth I bought it for the orange glass so that I could do my rainbow gin bottles. I needed an orange one. So same proportions, 500-ish grams, 1 pound of raspberries. Again, these are from my mum's garden and they are frozen. Alright, also getting stuck in my little doofer. I wondered if I would be able to just put them in. Yeah, because all the little bitty bits of the raspberries are getting stuck. Yeah, I think we'll just... Okay, bear with me. Oh, mess. Okay, so the rasps are all falling to bits. Okay. Right, so we have the rasps. Now I'm going to do the same, but 125 grams of sugar. Now it's just granulated sugar, nothing fancy, nothing posh. And again, all I'm going to do is cover the fruit. Now this might take the whole bottle. Yep, let's do the whole bottle, that's fine. So this one will be a raspberry and apricot liqueur. Same drill, close it, seal it, give it a shake. Now, I'm not 100% sure of the seal, so I'm not going to tip that upside down on camera. But basically, all right, let's risk it for a biscuit. There we go. You just shake. And after a couple of days, yep, leaking a little bit, the sugar will dissolve. That is not a great seal, so I might have to put a new seal on that one. There we go. And that's it. Black currant, raspberry and apricot. So this is day 2. The black currant sugar has pretty much dissolved. I don't know if you can see just right at the bottom here, right there. The raspberry sugar hasn't quite dissolved, so it still needs a little bit of shaking and swirling about. Maybe another day or 2, and then I'll put them away in a dark cupboard to mature. Okay, day 3, all the sugar has now dissolved, and all I'm going to do is put this in a cool, dark place and forget about it for a while. And here we have the black currant, sugar all dissolved, ready to go into my cupboard up the stairs where the towels are kept, and it'll just sit in the bottom of there for a few months. Now, these jars are full of alcohol and sugar, so they are perfectly preserved. They're not going to go bad, they're not going to go off, they will be absolutely fine. Things like black currants, gooseberries, sloes later on in the season, they're quite tough skinned, so freezing them actually helps soften the skin a little bit, and it just helps the juice and the colour come out into the alcohol. Now, the fruit that is in here will not go to waste, so when I strain this off, I will make gin infused raspberry jam and vodka infused black currant jam. And if you look at the price of really good jam in the shop, the Bon Maman stuff, while it is fantastic, you're paying several pounds for, you know, a sort of small jar. By doing this, you can make something quite unique and gourmet, if you like, that you can't buy in the shops anywhere. And that's the type of gift that I like to give my friends and family. And whether they enjoy it or like it or want it, for me the joy is in the making and then the giving. Although obviously I am picky about who gets my my frugal gifts, but in general I would suggest know your audience and whether the recipient would actually appreciate something like that. So when you strain off the fruit and you're left with the alcoholic liqueur, you can put them into various sizes of bottles and jars. Now, you can buy these types of little bottles. I think I got these on Etsy. I got a batch a couple of years ago, and I think I'm down to my last 2. But they look really pretty when you put your homemade liqueur in it. And I often gift this gift with a bottle of Prosecco and a little handwritten label on how they can make a cocktail with this. Now, if you notice, this particular one has one of those unbroken seals. So just look them up on Etsy. I'm not sure what, I think this is maybe a 30, 300ml bottle. But you can reuse other sizes of bottles. I save bottles and jars so that I can reuse them for gifts. So I have one more alcoholic one, and then I'll move on to some non-alcoholic ones, because I know that not everyone wants to either handle alcohol or give alcohol as a gift. So again, I think I have shown this before and mentioned this before. This is an Australian gin that I did have, and I really like this one, the Manly Spirits. It's a nice one, but it's not, it's just cheap gin that's in this one. And this is my homemade vanilla essence extract. It's not like the synthetic stuff you can buy in the shops, and I quite often make this and gift this as well. I did get some new vanilla pods. These were £6.50 on Amazon. I'll leave the link below if anyone is interested. And all you do is put the alcohol in there. It works with vodka and or gin. I believe it also works with brandy, but I haven't tried that myself, so I don't know. All you do is have your bottle of vodka or gin, and you just put the vanilla pods in. And it takes a couple of months for it to get to that dark vanilla flavoured colour. And you can reuse the pods several times. So the pods in that bottle, they have definitely been on the go for about 3 or 4 years, and it still smells as vanilla-y as it always has. So that's the last alcohol one. If you don't want to do alcohol, you could always make vanilla sugar. If you know a baker or someone who makes their own bakery items from scratch, really easy peasy. Take a nice jar, fill it with sugar and pop 1 or 2 vanilla pods in it and leave it for a few months to infuse. You might need to stir the sugar around a few times. I have seen some chefs blitz their sugar and vanilla pods together, and then that way you get the little black flecks all the way through the sugar. I don't, but you could do that if you wanted. Okay, other things I make are flavoured vinegar. This is just plain white distilled vinegar, and it's chive flavoured. So all I have done is pick the chive flowers, feed them into the vinegar, and you leave it for a couple of weeks. You can add a little bit of sugar if you want to make it a slightly sort of softer vinegar dressing. But just the chive flowers in the vinegar works just as well, and you can make up little sort of twin sets of flavoured oil and flavoured vinegars if you have a foodie friend or you want to give a foodie gift. So that's quite a nice one. I always dry mint. Now this one is actually coming up into its 2nd year because I had tons of mint that year. You can dry mint in a dehydrator if you've got one. I have a really cheap ancient one that still works. But if you pick it and you tie it in bunches and you hang it up in a sunny window, it dries just as well in a couple of weeks. And all you have to do is make sure it's completely dry, and you can just fill a jar, label it, put a ribbon around it, and the recipient can make their own mint tea. Okay, this last one now. I think Tanya, maybe over at Living on a UK Income, Living on a UK Pension, apologies if it's not you, Tanya, but I think Tanya made quite a good video on how to make your own apple cider vinegar. Now, this is the apple cider vinegar that I made last year using up the apple scraps from my mum's apples that she grew in her garden. So this is actually organic apple cider vinegar. And it takes a little bit of patience. It takes a few months for it to properly mature. And there are loads of instruction videos out there on YouTube if you want to do this. But you can see at the bottom, or hope you can see, there's a little bit of sediment and the mother. And I find apple cider vinegar to be, homemade apple cider vinegar, to be a little bit softer and more gentle than shop bought. I don't know the strength of it, so I wouldn't necessarily use it for preserving anything, because preserving needs to have a 5% acidity level or above. And unless I test this, I wouldn't use this. I've just reused a bottle that I had, but this is for personal use. I have given some to family and friends, and they're not as keen on it, so I am just going to keep using that for myself. So there are quite a lot of potential gifts that you could start just now, because they need time to mature or dry, or just generally be in season at the moment. So you're not buying strawberries in November because you want to make, you know, a strawberry based liqueur. In the past, I have done strawberries, I've obviously done raspberry, black currant, I've done sloes, I've done rhubarb, I have done gooseberry. And there's no reason that you can't just use shop bought frozen fruit as well, and it still works. It's also a good idea if you are picking up reduced fruit in places, because you can use it in this way as well. All you have to do is make sure that there is no bad bits or mouldy bits on the fruit. So I hope you found that useful. I have loads of other ideas. So I'm going to call this part 1, mainly because you have to get cracking now if you want to preserve things like herbs that are growing at the moment. Even if you want to dry things that you buy in the supermarket, it is still a good time because they're at their peak just now. So if you get any questions about anything that I've done here, or you think I've not explained fully, give me a shout in the comments, and I will do a part 2 later on in the summer, and I can show you later on in the year what these two big jars look like, and I can also add in some other ideas that I have. So thanks for watching all the way to the end. Miss Luna has finished her yogi ball and is... You come to say hello? No, she's in a funny mood today because it's rather windy. So thanks for watching, and I will see you again for a proper foodie Friday on Friday. So I'll see you then. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.